Going behind the scenes with Hollywood's power players. Real Hollywood Live with Ben and Reba. Starts now.
Hi everybody and welcome to Real Hollywood Live with Ben, that's me.
And I'm Reba.
And we're here on location at Film Festival Flix to bring you an amazing interview with, I'm going to refer to my notes because she's French and so it doesn't flow off completely, but award-winning director and co-writer Deniz Gamze Ergüven of the French film Mustang, which is up for Oscar consideration this year.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And
Welcome.
wow.
We really like to welcome you because, first of all, this is your debut film. And for a debut film to be the French film for Oscar consideration is a big deal. But what I want to know is, why did you decide to be a director? Because I know you acted and I know you co-wrote this film, Mustang. Why a director?
I always considered cinema as a meta language, as the most powerful language possible. We can exchange experiences, we can exchange points of views, and it felt very, it felt like my language too. And so the grammar of it was very familiar. And yes, each time I wanted to say a story, it came through the form of a film.
Oscar nominee on your first one. What have you been doing up until now?
It is a film school in Paris, which is called La Fémis, where they take very few directors. And it's a film school where you literally do films one after the other. You never sit on a bench. You just, you are the making. And after that, I had a first feature film project, which took place in South Central Los Angeles. And I did a lot of research for it. And then I started working on Mustang because the first one was a bit too big for a first feature. And Mustang started off as an evil master plan to do that first feature film afterwards. And after I was completely driven by it, and here we are now today.
And what was it like when you found out that your film was going to be the French film for Oscar consideration?
Well, first of all, we were so happy, and but in a very solemn way, because immediately came the sense of responsibility, because the foreign language Oscar doesn't go to a producer or a director; it goes to the country, and France is the country that has adopted me, and the fact that yes, I feel like so grateful, and it's a big amount of trust we have on our shoulders, and so yes, I want to be I want to be worth it, this trust.
It's the French film, but it's all done in Turkish, and it's set in Turkey.
Yes.
This is the new rules for Oscar, by the way. 10 years ago, this would have never happened.
Well, it's a very modern choice, a very radical choice on France has made. And it's a way of embracing all the diversity of who's French today.
Okay, so where'd the idea come from?
Oh, sorry. Okay. All my attention was going on the question of what it is to be a woman and what it is to be a woman in Turkey. The debate about what Turkish society should be is very much focused on exactly that point. And there was something which was very striking to me. There is a filter of sexualization through which women are perceived. And it starts at a very early age, just like in the opening of the film, when the girls sit on the shoulders of the boys and they are accused of having rubbed themselves against the back of the boys' necks. It's a way of saying that, everything a girl does is sexual, and it starts so early. And around just this, the entire idea of a society tries to articulate itself. So that was it.
I have a feeling I'm seeing, that, or at least you're letting out, what it was like growing up.
Well, there's a lot of personal experiences, like even the first scene I just told you about. But the one big difference is that I never reacted as the characters. For example, when we were accused of having done something disgusting, we were terribly embarrassed. We looked at our shoes and were mortified. And in the film, they just start off by breaking the chairs in the house and saying, these chairs touch our assholes, isn't that disgusting? So they managed to say all those things you have stuck in your throat and you dreamt you had the courage to say and you never say it. Yeah.
The name Mustang, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I knew a Mustang. It's a wild horse. Your translation of Mustang for the film?
Well, the first line of the script said, "L'allée" has something of a wild animal, and I had to think, okay, which animal is that? And the girls have these like very long wild hair, and so there's a visual rhyme where they run around the village like a little pack, and it had to say, the title of the film had to say their temper. It had to say what's untamable about them. Mustang means etymologically without a master, which is just great. Like it fits them perfectly.
Lale is 12 years old.
Yes.
She does steal the film.
She was exactly as witty and smart as the character.
She's also the troublemaker. No, I shouldn't say she's the troublemaker of the film, but she's the spark.
Well, she had this thing which is completely great. She has the figure of a little ballerina. She's extremely light and lightweight, and she has the temper of a hardened criminal. And I love that. At times when you push her, she can be like, "Rah."
Well, what was the process from when you wrote this story to actually then getting it greenlit to be made?
Well, as it was my second feature film project, I was like very hungry almost. So I was eager and impatient and pushing around everything so I could make the film done. And the financing sequence was a bit slower than what I would have hoped. 3 weeks before the shooting, the initial date of shooting, like the initial producer abandoned the film. Like we were like in a plane with the pilot saying bye-bye, I'm going. And hopefully I had this great producer who was, by the way, the first producer I had submitted the script to, who came on the 25th hour, saved the project, refinanced everything that needed to be refinanced, and put us back on track. And so the last bit of work was a bit dramatic.
Well, there was another part that would have made it dramatic. You were pregnant, and I'm wondering if this was an adventure for you too.
Well, yes. Well, that was not part of a master plan, like being pregnant. And actually, I had discovered that I was pregnant a week before the producer left. And, well, it was something we had to embrace. And I think it made me be even more decided and willing and cold-blooded, because I was not allowed to stress. It was, you can't stress, you're not allowed to.
Well, and if in the beginning they didn't know if you were throwing up because the performance was bad or if you were feeling sick.
No, it's true that the thing is, we had like 1 hour of road to do every day on a winding road by the sea, the one that you see in a few shots. And so I had a reason, like, the road is making me sick.
I know I was moved because I'm a sister. And there is this bond. And I wondered, as the filmmaker who co-wrote it, what is the story of those 5 sisters?
The fact that they don't have parents make them very intimate, and they take away from one another everything they need emotionally. So they're extremely intimate, and they act like a litter of kittens. Even now, when you see the actresses, they're always, like this, physically. You always ask, like, whose leg is this one, because they're tangled up together, and they're playing around, and they have a relation with the bodies of each other, which was like the extension of their own body. So, like sometimes they have an arm here, and they're like, whose arm is, oh, it's mine, or not. And I always consider them, they're so fusional that I thought they were like one character with 5 heads.
And the ages?
They were, at the time of the shooting, between 12 and a half and 20.
Was it difficult because of the role, because of it does touch on being Muslims? Was it difficult to get the parents to go along with the shooting, especially with the 12-year-old?
No, of course I didn't barge into their lives with we had to build trust. We had to become a family ourselves. So it took very long months of discussions. And one day we sat with a list of everything that the girls should do in front of the camera and everything we should speak of. Had they ever experienced death in their, had they lost anyone, had all those things, like you just can't barge into the life of a young actress saying, okay.
I just have to ask you this because it does touch on sexuality or lack of it, but they all had it. How is it when it was screened in France? Oh, God. Has it been screened in Turkey?
Yes.
And what was the reaction?
The film generates mostly quite positive reactions everywhere. In Turkey, it was polarized, just as the country is today. So the positive reactions were, oh yeah, you put your finger on something and it touches me very much. And then the negative reactions were very, very violent, extremely, extremely violent.
Because you have extremists, and what would they do if they didn't have something to complain about?
No, it's not only extremists, but it's like we're on very taboo territories.
Sex is taboo.
Yes, all the details we talk about around women's sexuality, yes.
And also the power to be a woman.
I really wanted to charge them with all those values which are rarely given to women in cinema and, you know, even everywhere else. Like, we have preconceived ideas of what women should be, and strength, courage, all those things are rarely attributed to women, even sometimes out of modesty. Like, strong women have to, you know, take it a notch down to, you know, to be socially acceptable. Or
If there's one thing that you hope this film would accomplish socially, what do you hope the audience worldwide might take away from it?
well, I hope it's a film which can help question a few things and open a few doors of discussion. And you know, it's in art history and cinema history, we've always been looking through, at the world through the eyes of men, and here we are. The girls are subject of desires, of hopes, and we see how they are, and it's quite exotic for audiences, actually, and I think it's good. It adds perspective, and it, I hope, generates empathy with these girls.
Well, we've only known you for a short period, but I would describe you as having a quiet intensity.
Thank you.
And clearly you embody a very powerful woman that's made an incredible film.
With a very bad voice
That's
these
okay.
days.
It's okay, your voice is not only vocal, it's also visual. And the film is now available in the United States through Cohen Media. It's in theaters, it's up for Oscar nomination.
It actually opens November 20th.
All right. Well, congratulations. I hope it goes far and wide, and I hope we bring you back as, you know, the best picture.
And you know what we always say, don't you?
Absolutely.
That's a wrap.
Rove knows you're always on the go, so we make it easy to have the most basic luxuries at your fingertips no matter where you are. At home watching a movie, working out at the gym, or running around town. Yes, we are talking about having hot coffee and cold water available on demand. Rove makes everything better. Check out roveliving.com. That's ROVE living.com. Rove, make life better.
Real Hollywood Live with Ben and Reba.